up, everybody? I'm Myra Flynn, and this is Homegoings, a series from brave little state where we speak with artists of color, like Ferene Paris Meyer here with me today, about the Black experience in grief, rage, healing, and joy. Ferene, you are the founder and creator of All Heart Inspirations, a storytelling enterprise and company and business now at this point. And I'm just so happy to be speaking with you today. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, what significance does the Flynn space hold for you?
My storytelling journey started here. I took a storytelling class, and in that storytelling class, I happened to be the only person of color. And I was like, I'm just curious if the Flynn would ever think about doing storytelling classes in Affinity. What would it look like if people of color could just, a class for them, by them? And so, before you know it, they're like, yeah, and you're gonna teach. And I'm like, but wait a minute, like, I was just doing my thing where I tell people how to do their jobs. Like,
didn't know I had to do the job.
Yes.
Well, welcome home.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to sit down and continue to hear more in a place that you so revere. So thanks so much, and looking forward to chatting.
Sounds good.
You know, I actually met you as a performer myself in the world of performance, and I had no clue that you were a performer. And then bam, you come out with All Heart Inspirations, and you are a storyteller for a living, which, like, congrats, by the way. That's one of the rarest livings I've ever heard of.
You're like, what do you do? I'm like, I tell stories.
Yeah. Has this always been living inside of you? Have you always had performance in particular inside of you?
I go back to 6th grade when you asked me that question, and I go back to my teacher, Mrs. Welch, because that is
Always a teacher.
Oh, it's always a teacher, and that's why we have to show up for our teachers. And I went to a Catholic school, and so every month it rotated what class got to sponsor Mass. And so it was 6th grade's turn with Mrs. Welch, and she was like, Ferene, I want you to do the first reading. And I practiced. I was like, I can't mess this up. And I got up to the podium, and I looked at the crowd, and I just preached the reading. I never looked down. I just spoke truth. And then I sat down, and I was like, I hope I did okay. And then I remember the priest going to the podium next to do his homily, and he was like, Ferene, I have never seen that in my life.
Wow.
You have a gift. You have to use this voice.
I feel like there's this age-old adage for Black culture that's like, don't be vulnerable. Suck it up, self-suppress, stay strong all the time. Do you have any advice for those of us who may be watching right now and feeling like, I can't share my story? How do you advise folks to get past that?
Yeah, for me, every time I lean into opening up my heart, liberation, clarity of mind, peace of soul is what I'm rewarded with. And it is hard, but if we don't do it, the person who suffers the most is you. Mm-hmm. So when I was not sharing my feelings, when I was masking them, when I was coding them, the person who suffered the most was me. And what happened over time was that it took a toll on my collective mental health. Depression came into my life, and anxiety, and feeling like I was not able to feel the things that I want to savor in life because I'm too busy stuffing and holding back. So I try my best to create spaces that people can show up as they are.
So it sounds like it's time for a legacy change for us.
We just have to.
Yeah.
It's like we're late. We're centuries late about this. And I've been doing work in the school district, and I'm like, speak. I'm like, speak, baby girl. And we really need to remind kids to do that, because they're picking up our coded things of how we push things down and we don't speak and all of that stuff, and then we're repeating these generational patterns.
So Homegoings was an idea born in the wake of the anniversary of George Floyd's murder. In trying to introduce Vermont to the way in which Black culture grieves. Because as we know, a homegoing is often very elaborate, lots of flowers, lots of music. So I kind of mapped it out with these 4 pillars of the experience of Black grief. There's rage, there's joy, there's grief, and there's healing. And I'm just wondering how you arrive at joy when it feels like our community can sometimes be so usurped by total suffering.
Whew. I know, I'm like, I gotta breathe for that. 'Cause joy is such a, I mean, you gotta intentionally work sometimes to manifest that. And I have to allow myself, and I give myself permission to do the raging and to grieve. Because that's the only way then I will be able to remind myself that the joy is my birthright to have. I'm remembering a performance that I did last summer. I was grieving. My dad was in the hospital. I was like, am I gonna turn 40 and bury my dad in the same month? And it was actually through his sickness, talking to him and trying to find moments to like give him faith to keep fighting. And I remember sharing with him like, Dad, do you know that your birthday this year happens to be the same weekend that the Flynn is reopening after shutting down when the pandemic started? And I'm opening. What a beauty it would be if you could be my date for the show. So you gotta get out of this hospital.
Yeah.
If you want to, what a moment for you to witness me on the main stage. And I remember coming back the next day, and then he's like, well, like, how big is it? Like, how many people? Like,
He got excited.
He got excited.
Yeah.
And so for me, I found joy in that way. Yes, we're in a hospital, we're here, but some of this beautiful work that I do when I leave here, you are my inspiration for this. This is a gift that you showed me as a child of what it meant, in spite being this immigrant Haitian man and feeling the heaviness sometimes of how this world sees you as a Black man, as an immigrant. And I cannot allow these systems and to keep trying to box me back, and this is the narrative you're allowed to have as a Black person. Nah, game over. No, thank you.
Not today.
Because I know what it feels like to not just survive at this thing called life, but thrive at it. Invest in Black, we all win.
Okay, so I've made a career off of heartbreak, right, as a musician. A whole career out of heartbreak, all right? But I think at a certain point as I was getting older, I had to realize, that I was breaking my own heart in order to create great music, as opposed to making music born of heartbreak. Have you ever fallen into that trap now that your vulnerability is so marketable? Because it is different once you start making a living and making a business out of things. How do you keep that earnest and intact?
We have to protect our gift. Right now, my gift is storytelling. And so I find myself needing to be so intentional now about actually who I share space with. Because when I do work, I give everybody all of me. Like when I show up and I perform, this is 100%. And I've started to think that I'm a hummingbird. Hummingbirds are so magical. That has always been my spirit animal. You watch them. You watch the way that they're moving. They are moving like 1,000 miles a minute. But what we don't see is that they rest deeply. When they aren't about, they're chilling. They're chilling, chilling, chilling. And they also savor from the sweetest things to maintain their vibrant existence in life. And so that is another thing that has helped me to protect the gift and to find that, because it is so hard.
Homegoings is part of Brave Little State on VPR, and typically it's in podcast format. So this is actually our first time doing a full video. But Brave Little State is predicated on people who are our listeners and our audience members asking questions about Vermont. And you are actually here. You are actually here because you came recommended and totally unsolicited by somebody named Lily Hammerline of Burlington. And Lily actually sent us a video where she's asking you a question.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I'm gonna leave the interview up to Lily. Let's just watch that for just a moment here.
One thing I would ask Ferene is, how can you connect with people in the same way that you do if you are more introverted or less outwardly enthusiastic? Thank you.
Any advice for the introverts who want to live out loud?
Lily, first and foremost, storytelling is for you. Then I think about who is it that's deserving of having this part of me? Who is it that if I were to share this with them, I know that they would witness me back? And those are the relationships that I actually remind them, I want you to know you make me feel seen. We're always storytelling too, by the way. People are like, how do you storytell? I hope when people are having meals, I hope when you're taking a walk with somebody, you should be really having heart conversations, going, a little bit deeper. And those little daily practices, I think, is what gets us to the point where, like, one day I'm like, wow, I just spoke in front of 3,000 people, and I did that. Like, how did I get here?
Awesome. Awesome, Lily. You heard. I've been back here a year, and one of the things that I've kind of continued to hear is that Vermont is welcoming. Vermont is, on the right side of history. And then I see posts from folks in our community, folks like you, about, your family car being vandalized. Yeah. Could you maybe speak to some Vermonters who may be feeling like racism doesn't exist here?
Yeah. Felt my heart like, because
I didn't say it was going to be easy now.
No, yeah, because that whole Vermont, we're great. It's such a toxic disease that's in the water, in the air, because when we live in that false perception, folks like myself and other members in the community that are experiencing and witnessing the not so kindness, the actually legit hateful acts that can happen, it dismisses that story. And so I have now been in Vermont for 10 years. I cannot believe I just hit double digits as a person of color here. We came here, and at first I was like, wow, it's beautiful here. I kind of found some kind of cool community, but then the Kool-Aid that I think I was drinking gets I'm over it.
It wore off.
It wore off,
yeah.
And you peel back what is really happening here, and it's the little microaggressions you notice while you're moving through the store. I don't know what it is about me that every time I'm in Kohl's, people ask me to help them. And I'm just like,
oh no.
I just, and I'm just, and I,
For me, it's restaurants.
You want to ask, you're like, what,
Yeah.
What is it?
Mm-hmm.
And just one of the things I just come back to that's consistent is I'm the only brown person here. I'm literally just trying to shop as you, but it happens all the time. But what you were naming, it's gotten as extreme as someone writing the N-word on my car. And wow, that November Sunday, the sun was shining, and I got in the car, and I see Josh freeze. And his face has this look on it that I know without him having to say anything. And I was like, there's something on the car. Mm. And I remember getting out of the car, and I saw the N-word written across the hood. And that word was created for a reason. In 2021, the way that word ripped everything out of me. How did I go from this vibrant Black queen that was headed out to go watch her Vikings game with her friends, and then just like that, I'm like, oh, Vermont's reminding me I'm Black. Vermont's reminding me that as much as you think you can live out loud, I'm here to check you. And of course, these are just narratives that I'm starting to tell myself.
Right, but it sets you back. Like, I'm getting teary talking
Yes.
about it because you work so hard to, be empowered, and it just takes that word, just takes it one time.
And I don't know where it happened. I don't know if it happened while I was out in the community running an errand. So someone literally waited for me to go in a store. What if I had come out and seen it? I don't know if they came into my driveway. And that word just checked me like nobody's business.
It reduces you, like for me, it reduces me to speechless. Like,
I was speechless.
yes.
Yeah, I get the whole racism doesn't exist. Just it makes me lose words because I'm just like, what world are you living in?
Right, what are you missing?
Because it's all I know.
Yeah.
It's all I know.
Right.
It's all I know.
I think it was Vermont politician Keisha Ram Hinsdale who said something to the effect of, Vermont doesn't have a recruitment problem. Vermont has a retention problem. And I think a lot about this now because I think I've been here a year now. I think about my daughter. Yes. I think about where she lays her head down at night. And really, will we stay? When you think about the retention and losing women of color in the community constantly in Vermont, you've been here 10 years. Why do you stay?
I've been here 10 years. I stay because there are parts that I have discovered about myself that it's because I was here in Vermont that I have these parts of me. When I got here, I went natural because it was really hard to find salons to relax my hair. Embracing my natural fro. I have braids now, but when I don't have braids, my fro is killer, like Angela Davis type vibes. And I went natural because of something not existing here, but then it made me embrace something that is so beautiful about me. I started skiing this year. I met families that, even though we were one of few of brown families, it was just important for us to just get together, and that was one of my first introductions to community here. And so I think I was like, oh, that's why you stay. Because the brown and Black community here is like one of the most epic things I have ever witnessed and experienced. Like, I can't get over how amazing we are. And I have found white community members that love me in ways as if they're my mom. It fills my heart, and my kids see that. That is why I stay.
So this is for any of you BIPOC listeners or watchers out there who are thinking of coming to Vermont. This was your elevator pitch as to why you come to Vermont and move here and stay. That was beautiful. Thank you, Ferene. Awesome. Well, this is Ferene Paris Meyer, and this is Homegoings. Let's settle in and take a deep listen to one of Ferene's stories.
This one is dedicated to all of my Black queens. No, I will not let you, my queen, question your beauty, your warmth, your grace. No. Not today, my Black queen. Do not be apologetic for how you show up in this space. Allow yourself to see what I see. Confident in your talk. Soulful in your walk. You are not being too dramatic, too angry, or too loud. A queen crowned in her natural coils, with melanin skin as rich as brown soil. I dare someone say that you are not enough. So no, not today, my Black queen. Forget what they say you should or should not be. 'Cause let's be real, sis. You are perfection, my mahogany queen. So let us soak up your magic until our hearts and souls are full. To know you is to love you. To love you is to know you. Where would I be without my Black queens? I'm a product of a Black queen. Ferene Paris Meyer, daughter of Haitian immigrants, Farah and Yolene. My mom, from the beginning of time, has been trying to ensure that I move through this world having what I am deserving of. Our journey of them moving here and sacrificing simply that my sister and I could live out our birthright, to have a life that thrives. I often say that when it comes to being a storyteller, one of the things that anchors me the most is that I am here to take up space as a Black queen. For too long as I can remember growing up, whether it was the way people would question my name, the way that maybe people would question the food that I was eating, the family that I came from, and I would notice that I would start to dim who I was. But I am so worthy of you receiving me the way that my parents and my ancestors, and most importantly, me, need you to hold me in your heart. For I am so much more than the stories that society wants to put upon me because I move through this world as a Black woman. But where is there space for you to name the joy that I bring, the excellence that I bring, the way that we are affirming and feeding and nurturing this community to continue to coexist and keep moving? This is why we need our Black queens. This is why we need to be anchored in Black love. It is our collective responsibility to liberate and manifest Black joy. So whether you're a Black queen, a Black king, a Black human soul, I am here to say you are deserving of being here. Every time I wake up and every time I put my head to sleep at night, I count my blessings for the beautiful brown and Black community that I have been blessed since coming to the Vermont. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I would be existing in this community where people are inviting me to speak my truth and to live out loud, I would have said, why are you making up dreams or saying things that cannot manifest? But through my time here in Vermont, through gentle steps, taking it moment by moment, breath by breath, I continue to anchor myself in my greatness. I know who I am. I am from Haiti. I am from ancestors who are part of the first Black republic in the Western culture to say no more. You cannot colonize my heart. You cannot colonize my spirit. My liberation is mine. And I continue to remind myself of that. So if we have these moments here in Vermont where we can feel that the whiteness is taking over more space and not allowing us to be the thriving selves that we are, I remember where I come from. And I'm going to remind you that I am worthy of love. My Black community is worthy of love. We are worthy of being held. We are worthy of being seen. And we would just love for you to center us, not just in our suffering, but in all the other things that make being Black so beautiful. There's a reason why Black girl magic is said over and over and over. It's a mantra, it's an affirmation that we came up with to say, I see you. You are Black girl magic. I am Black girl magic. You did that. We did that. So what would it look like if us as a collective could love Black, feel Black, invest in Black, support Black, elevate Black. It is our collective responsibility to liberate our Black community here. So no, I will not let my queens and anybody else anchored in Blackness to not show up as your full self. This is our birthright. I want more than just surviving. I want to thrive. I have felt what it feels like to thrive. That is possible for us here, but I can't do it alone. And so I use my power of storytelling to share my stories, to invite people to see my world through my heartful narratives, and hoping, whether it's because you can relate to the story or that you can at least connect with the feeling, that you will join me on this journey of using stories to heal, connect, and love on each other in our community. Because at the end of the day, I just have this heart, and I want to share it, and I want to be open with it. But will you receive it and hold it tenderly? She's precious. To love me is to love my Blackness.